The Lord teaches. Air, mountain, and wandering spirits. The mists that soon develop here and there above one or the other rocky ridge, especially upon high mountains, are, if no rain, snow, or the like has preceded them, nature spirits, for the most part, ones that did not originate from deceased people, and can only become human souls and spirits after quite some time. These spirits, rising readily into the air, even covering it entirely on occasion, are the so-called air spirits. These already enjoy more freedom than the firmer earth spirits, but even in this free state of theirs, must nevertheless be most carefully supervised by the pure spirits of peace. Otherwise, they could easily come to do great harm. These spirits are seldom seen by men, and they do indeed most carefully prevent this from happening, for they have a great fear of everything that is material, but especially of that in which they feel a strong sense of perception. This very fear instills in them a sort of hatred for matter at large, wherein they have been imprisoned for so long, which is why careful supervision of these spirits is very much understandable. Because every spirit, once it has been freed from matter, cannot ever be brought close to it again. Even the spirits of the deceased have great disgust for it, even though within them a perfect intelligence is present. How great the aversion to matter of those spirits is! They who merely a few moments ago, by special permission, have escaped the bonds of severest imprisonment, within which they pretended to be perfect, to the freedom demanded, without traversing the long, fatal, and tedious path of the flesh. This desire is granted to them, though thereafter they usually never keep their word. For these spirits, out of disgust and hatred for matter, either turn malicious and vengeful, or they gather together by the millions and seek to escape into the vast infinity. Those harboring malicious and vengeful intent are once again captured and brought down to earth by way of the above described meteorological phenomena, where they are soon ordered to operate within the plant kingdom. However, should they not feel like doing so, they are driven into streams, rivers, lakes, and seas, appearing now as water, though even there, as you already know, more often than not, they are up to manifold mischief. Should they go even further, growing severely mischievous, and uniting with the harsh spirits of the sea, it could, and does happen quite often, that such wicked patrons are driven back into the very bowels of the earth. A most unfortunate fate, indeed. On the other hand, if these spirits apply themselves diligently to the business of plant growth, they may either start their journey upon the path of the flesh, or, after a certain period of service, which may extend to 200 years at the most, and somewhat beyond, they may return to their former free state, wherein they may then inhabit the air, the mountains, the earth, the forests, and occasionally the lakes and rivers as well. This kind of spirits then possess a perfect intelligence. They are tremendously knowledgeable in all things pertaining to nature, and they can see and hear everything that occurs on this earth, all that is spoken there. These spirits may even deal with humans, sometimes rendering them decisive services, though all men must beware of getting too close to them in whatever matter unfolding, for they may easily grow embittered and cause significant harm to the one who had embittered them. They might indeed inhabit matter, but they are nevertheless mortal enemies thereof. Places they prefer to inhabit must be remote and quiet. In such surroundings, it is not advisable for anyone to shout, to whistle, and even less so to curse and scold. For by doing so, could the spirits, still imprisoned within matter, be stirred to action and rebellion, which would consequently bring harm to those who have already grown more free in their understanding. To prevent this, they attempt to frighten the hikers visiting such areas by employing all sorts of phenomena, so the hikers would want to vacate the area as quickly as possible. They are particularly dangerous in the mountains, as well as in tunnels and shafts, where they have frequently brought about great misfortune for those working in such places. A sudden collapse of shafts and tunnels, noxious air, unexpected floods, disappearing metal veins, and other such freakish occurrences are all the work of spirits such as these. Even things like landslides and enormous snow avalanches are managed by these fiends. If, on occasion, these spirits for once wish to do well by people, or at least do not intend to do them any harm, they usually appear in a Dwarven form, of a dark grey, blue or green hue. This small shape they choose indicates that they lower themselves to the people to do them good, for in a certain way they pity the banished spirit within them. However, if, even after this gesture of goodwill, a person would behave in an unbecoming manner towards such spirits, they not seldom grow to a tremendous size, and once they take this form, it is no longer safe to stay near them, and certainly not without invoking my name. The fact that such spirits exist has already been shown in the last message. The only question that remains is whether or not such spirits will also traverse the path of the flesh. If they show themselves to be useful and active on this earth, their flesh may very well be forgiven, though instead they will go either to the moon or another planet entirely, where they must nevertheless accept an incarnation, to be made flesh, and they must do so more willingly as well, for an incarnation on any other celestial body is commonly more fleeting and delicate. Usually these spirits are then called wandering spirits, and that they travel from one planet to another, and during these travels they are not seldom accompanied by spirits of the deceased as well, particularly from among the so-called nature philosophers and astronomers, to whom these wandering spirits, as they had never become flesh on this earth, typically render desirable services. For the spirits of the deceased could not see anything on the other celestial bodies without the assistance of these wandering nature spirits. These nature spirits guide the spirits of the deceased into the people of other celestial bodies, so they might behold these foreign worlds through their eyes. When such nature spirits grow weary of wandering, in time it usually happens that they indeed return to Earth and finally acquiesce to the difficult incarnation, without which a childship of God could never even be thought of. For all who wish to become a child of God must go the way of God as well, all the way, which is why, as has already been made known to you, spirits from countless other celestial bodies journey to this earth to undergo the incarnation of the Son of Man. For just as there is only one God, one truth and one life, so too is there only one way that leads to it, which is not to say that it is necessary for all inhabitants of all celestial bodies to traverse this path, in order for them to be blessed in their own right. Just like the innumerable amount of nerves and fibers within the human body that are healthy despite them not being nerves and fibers of the heart. By this contemplation and a memorable introduction, may all surely and easily get their bearings within the second spiritual region. Next, therefore, merely a few memorable little histories. And then let us descend quickly into the first air region.